unable to find a tone that connects with a younger audience, and always picking the wrong movies. Respectfully, we disagree. Around the world, especially the English-speaking world, movies mean Hollywood, and Hollywood means Oscars. If you love film, then the Oscars still matter. Winning an Oscar can transform a career. And the upside of the Oscars, reserving its highest awards for films that never even dent the top 20 at the box office, is that there are other awards, apart from the purely financial, which help filmmakers like Barry Jenkins, Ava DuVernay, Alfonso Cuarón, Yorgos Lanthimos, Greta Gerwig, and Steve McQueen get their films made, even if that same Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences sometimes gives its top prize to Green Book. So, we don't pretend that the 92 Best Picture winners are the 92 best films ever made. In fact, we only sometimes find that the Academy has picked what we think is the best film of the year. But that list of 92 films is a finite list that permits no arguments. And that's what inspired us. The three of us had always been keen Oscar watchers. For a number of consecutive marches, we'd gathered around the television together near midnight with bowls of popcorn and glasses of wine, followed several hours later by mugs of coffee, to watch lavish production numbers, awkward comedy bits, parades of anonymous technicians winning for sound mixing or visual effects, stalwart campaigners denied their prize yet again, first-timers reduced to tears, people unthanked, names mispronounced, and finally, at the end of the night, a new film added to this very specific list. Gradually, the idea took hold. 92 Best Picture winners. 92 podcast episodes. For each installment, we researched what happened at that year's awards, looked more widely at the world of film, dug into the making of the winner, and sometimes took detours into other films, filmmakers, trends, and genres. Then we watched the film together and gave our verdict. Did the Academy, in our opinion, get it right? It's been a labour of love, and now it's done. The project is complete. But we're proud to have amassed a following, and so we're carrying on, interviewing more film fans, recording our own audio commentaries, comparing different versions of the same material, and digging out more stories from the world of movies. When we recorded the podcast, to keep things interesting, we put all 92 Best Picture winners in a hat and drew them out in a random order. For this book, we've taken all that research and rearranged and rewritten it in a more streamlined form. Rather than go movie by movie in a random order, we go chronologically through the decades, from the 1920s, albeit there weren't many Oscars in those years, to the 2010s. Each chapter starts with Tom Salinsky talking you through the Oscars. Who was in the running and then fell by the wayside? Whose over-the-top publicity campaign nauseated the viewers? Which film was eliminated because of an arcane change in the rules? Whose acceptance speech created waves in the days to come? Following that, Jessica Regan surveys the decade in film. What new innovations were created to solve particular filmmaking problems? What political forces hemmed in creative minds? What was seen for the first time and the last? And then John Dorney picks the film whose backstory is most typical, most extraordinary, most unlikely, or just most interesting, before we give our views in detail about, first, the Best Picture winner that, for us, represents the very best that the decade's winners have to offer, and then the one that comes, as some film inevitably must, 10th out of 10. In some cases, this isn't a particularly bad film, but as we made our way through Best Picture history, there were some real surprises, and not all of them were pleasant. And that brings us to what, in many ways, was the thought that inspired the whole project. Did the Academy get it right? Each of us has our say on every winner from that decade, either endorsing the choice made by the Oscar voters, or giving you our own pick instead. You probably won't agree with all our choices. In fact, you certainly won't, as we don't always agree with each